I think a lot of us, myself included, probably expected a couple new Deadlock heroes to be coming in the December major update or whenever the next major update is. But as it turns out, according to a recent leak, we might be getting upwards of 4 to 7 new heroes, along with a few hero remodels. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and today I want to get into this and some changes to Deadlock's API that were rolled out yesterday in this quick news update. Let's dive right into it. Alright, so the biggest talking point I want to get to right away is a post from Sleep. New info via Minesweeper and Hezi. Warden, Viscous, and Bebop have new models in production / have new models completed. Boho and Venator are ready to release, with us getting 4 to 7 heroes releasing this coming major update. This is a huge claim from Minesweeper and Hezi, so really excited to be talking about this, but let's start with the remodels. So Warden and Viscous are ones that I think that we have suspected. This is ones in my league circles that I've been kind of hearing about. Also in relation to Viscous, the Tourist skin has supposedly been scrapped, and that one won't be moved forward with, supposedly. That could always be subject to change. All of these leaks, by the way, I'll do the usual caveat real quickly. Take these with a grain of salt. These are just leaks. Things on the test server are always changing, so as always, they could always change before they deploy to live. Yeah, Bebop was the surprise here. It's kind of the reason I have Bebop cozied up by the fire, is because we're not going to see Bebop like this for much longer. It's kind of wild to think about, but if my understanding of Neon Prime serves correctly, which I didn't play much of that game, but for those that have been a part of the community since then, I believe Bebop's model is from that game, kind of the pre-iteration of Deadlock before Deadlock was Deadlock. I think you had a few heroes with pretty similar models in that game. I think Grey Talon and Yamato are also some of those. I'm not sure about others, but yeah, the big news here though is Boho and Venator are ready to release, with us getting 4 to 7 heroes releasing this coming major update. This is a huge deal. Before I get to kind of theorizing which of those heroes we might be expecting, I just wanted to quickly cover this, and then I want to quickly talk about some API things that are changing in Deadlock real quick, and then we'll get back to kind of maybe theorizing what new heroes we could be expecting in this major update. Our next piece of news has to do with Deadlock's API access, which if you go to statlocker.gg right now, you'll see Valve has reduced the Deadlock API's access to match data, 90% data capacity lost. Most matches will be unavailable without community support, and then StatLocker offers you to kind of do like a third-party install to help them collect that data. Obviously, totally up to the user. This one is interesting, though, to talk about. So, number one, we lose the kind of open stat resource we had that was StatLocker. That's really great for like post-match analysis. There's just a lot of good stuff there. I anticipate this is going to impact a lot of things, not just StatLocker. But the interesting question I have here is why? Why have developers decided to do this now? And I think, honestly, and I feel like sometimes I'm pushing an agenda on this channel. I'm really not. It just feels like a lot of times circumstantially, this ends up being my answer. But it feels like maybe we're closer to a more public release of the game. And so Deadlock devs want to keep things as close to their chest as possible. This also could just be like a response to leaks and them wanting to, again, kind of an extension of the getting away from things leaking so much. If they're able to kind of put more things under wraps and tighten up the test server, this could all just be an extension of that same line of thinking. Honestly, though, in the comments, I'd be open to what you all think about this one. I'm not quite as well versed as to why an API change would come like this. So honestly, I'd be open to hearing what you all say in the comments, and I'll be happy to engage with that, because honestly, this one has me scratching my head a little bit. My best guess, though, like I said, is that it's related to leaks and wanting them to keep the game under wraps. I would think probably because there's some big changes coming to the game. They might just be changing the way certain stats work. There's a lot of theorizing as to why this could happen. But in a game like Deadlock that's in an alpha state with a ton of changes, we should expect things like this to be coming, through the pipeline occasionally. Obviously, though, this one is, like I said, a head scratcher. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. But before we close the video, let's talk about some new heroes, what we could be expecting, and like I said, besides Venator and Boho, what's on the table for what heroes are coming next to Deadlock. So in my mind, it feels like we're probably getting at least 2 heroes in the next major update in Deadlock, but maybe upwards of 4 to 7. So what could those heroes be? Let's look. I'm going to look at a couple different things here as we talk about this. So obviously, we've talked a lot about Boho and Venator on the channel. A few videos back, we even showed some gameplay that got leaked of how those 2 heroes work. But I want to talk about a few other things as well, because obviously there are more heroes on the table for this update, and a lot of folks are going to have no idea kind of what even to consider for this as an option. Let's look at a few different things. So first of all, let's look at the old Deathy leak. This was back in, I think, May of last year, so pretty old leak at this point. But we've got a lot on the table even at this time, right? So you have Boho, obviously Bookworm, Doorman, Drifter come out as they are now with Paige. You have Fathom, who is an old test, experimental hero that I've heard has been kind of worked on in the background. That could be one that could be on the table. Frank obviously turns into Victor. Priest turns into Venator. Punk Goat turns into Billy. You have Raven, Skyrunner, Swan, Trapper, and Wrecker also all on the table. So coincidentally enough, if we kind of piece together some of the, some of the numbers, if we crunch the numbers here, it could just be that those are the new heroes being added that we should expect. Maybe, again, this is not like from a source or anything, this is just speculation, but maybe we expect Boho, Venator, Raven, Fathom, Skyrunner, Swan, Trapper, Wrecker. Some combination of those would definitely be interesting. However, there have been a lot of kind of different, outlets trying to speculate what new heroes we come into the game. I saw a post on the Deadlock the Game subreddit the other day of basically just a list of hero names, hero_name. This could be totally fabricated. There's really nothing to substantiate the claim, but it's at least interesting to look at some of the names that are on that list. If you just totally fabricated this person, well done, I'm looking at it. But, you have like Operative, Magician, Target Dummy, Slork, Generic Person, Yakuza, Gunslinger, let's see, Incubus, Skyrunner, Swan, Warden 2, Invoker 2, maybe these are supposed to be like hero remodels. That could easily be the case. Gnome, Fortuna, Gunslinger, Cobain. There's a lot of interesting ones out there. So at least where I would point us in the direction of is, I think the claim that there's 4 to 7 heroes coming in the next major update is totally valid. I think, though, what that could mean is that we get some Valve time happening here where we don't get that update in December. I could be totally wrong. That's just kind of my own 2 cents, but this feels like the kind of thing that could push out an update until like a January, for example. I really hope not, and I hope that what devs have been doing is working on this stuff since the pause in October, basically, and we do actually get it in December. If we do, this is really going to be a hell of an update. I mean, we have the new base, the new HUD, all the stuff we talked about in yesterday's video. The likelihood of the ARAM or Street Brawl mode being added to the game seems increasingly likely, and then you pile on 4 to 7 new heroes as well. I mean, we could just really be feasting in the start of the new year in Deadlock. So I don't want to yap too long. I could yap about this a lot, as I do, but I want to go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you all so much for tuning in. What heroes do you think we're going to get added? Which ones do you want to see? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the API as well. I really think that is interesting, but I feel a little uninformed of how to talk about it, so I don't want to talk about it too long on the channel. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. And from our house to yours, we'll see you all next time here at Dead Unlocked.